Hey everyone, welcome back to Girl Next Door and welcome to an unscripted video. I decided to change the backdrop a little bit because this video is going to be a bit more personal, a bit more intimate, if you will. We're gonna get to know each other today. So I asked some of you, all of you, to ask me questions about Girl Next Door, about myself, about relationships, and you did. I have my questions here on my phone and I will be answering them anonymously in this video. Damn, some of these questions are... Okay, question number 1. Your life story in a long story short format. Oh God. So I was born in Bulgaria. A lot of things happened until I was 18 years old, and that's when I left for the UK to study. A lot of things happened in 5 years while I was in the UK, and I managed to graduate in business and tourism management, which was arguably the wrong choice of a bachelor's degree, but anyways. I worked in hospitality. By the time I got to a manager's position, I got sick of it. So I left hospitality, I changed industries completely, I became a dating coach for men, and I also acquired a diploma in cognitive behavioral therapy. I am no longer a dating coach for men, and I am currently back home in Bulgaria where I'm pursuing 2 big projects and I'm enjoying life in the meantime. So here you go. Question number 2 is, tell us a little bit about yourself. I hate this question so much. So I'm going to respond in a bit of an awkward way, which I would in real life too. I am very introverted. I am very idealistic. I'm a Capricorn. I always wear socks. And I love books. That's it for now. Next question. What led you to having so much knowledge in relationships? First of all, thank you. I'm glad you think so. What led me to do this? Well, one of the reasons is because I tend to overthink. Like I said, I'm quite introverted. I spend most of my time in my head rather than in the outside world. And just like anybody else, I've been through some very traumatic relationships, some not so much, but equally as frustrating. So I needed answers. I hate conformity more than anything else. And I'm not one of those people that tends to bury their heads in the sand. If anything, I will dig for information that will hurt me rather than benefit me, but I would still rather know and be able to make an informed decision. So I've been digging for years. I've been digging on the topics of relationships, sexuality, dating. Like I said, I was a dating coach for men for a little bit, which answered more questions than I actually had. So yeah, I love to dig in. I love the truth. I love answers. I want to make better choices. I want to be the kind of partner that I want to attract. So yeah, hope this answers your question, and thank you so much once again. Next question. Do you have some experience/knowledge on how to cope with narcissistic significant other? Oh God. So this is hitting really deep. I was in a very toxic relationship with somebody who I believe was a person with narcissistic qualities and traits, and who was also psychopathic too. In terms of experience and knowledge, I know exactly how it feels. I know the damage that it did to my physical and my mental health, stuff that I'm still recovering from. If I could give anybody any advice, it would be listen to your goddamn inner voice while you still have it, because spending enough time with a narcissistic person will break you. You will become a shell of your own self. You will lose that inner voice. You will lose your intuition. You will lose your ability to feel things. So don't ignore the red flags. They're there. Very often these people state their intentions very clearly. But out of a desire to be happy, out of a desire to make the relationship work, we don't listen. So this is my advice. In terms of this topic in general, as you all know, Richard Grannon is quite experienced and knowledgeable on the topic, so maybe we'll do a collab soon. Stay tuned. Are you married and do you have kids? No and no. And up until this year, I really didn't want either of these things. And at this point, I may want one of them. How to deal with pressure to have kids and get married? I don't deal with that pressure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get asked all the time, especially by older people around me. However, I am perfectly aware of the fact that they won't live through the consequences with me. I'm going to be completely alone, as in I'm going to have to deal with whatever the results are of my actions. And I've stopped paying attention. However, every once in a while, some know-it-all person comes up and they get quite aggressive in their pursuit. So how I deal with it is I basically ask them questions that cause them a bit of a cognitive dissonance. Once you start asking people certain kind of questions, like why, you can reach a point of them actually getting aggressive because you're being reasonable, you're being rational, you're being logical, and not many people have the capacity to deal with that. Is staying alone forever really that bad? Wow, this is actually a very good question. Thank you for asking it. No, I don't think it is. I assume you mean staying alone in a romantic scenario, in which case, if you're not lonely and you're just alone and you're happy to be alone and you enjoy your presence and you have a small community of your own people, like a small network of people that you love and you can rely on and you're bonded with, I don't think you have any issues. There's so many intellectuals, brilliant people that are known to have been alone their whole lives. And I think this is because, you might get the opportunity for your brain to operate on a little bit of a higher frequency than normal people, but you might be lacking in the department of more practical things such as relationships and being able to communicate with people in a bit of a romantic way. And also, I know and I have heard of a lot of people that are not particularly intellectuals or brilliant people, but they're still alone in their 60s and 70s and they're perfectly happy. And if anything, they carry this sort of calmness with them everywhere they go. So that must come from somewhere, right? How do you know when a relationship isn't working despite efforts made both sides? I think the most important thing in a relationship is respect. A lot of people say it's honesty. However, a person can be honest with you and disrespectful at the same time. But if they respect you, they wouldn't be dishonest with you. So if the respect is lacking in a relationship, that's a very clear indication that you shouldn't be in a relationship. If your morals and values don't align at least a bit, I think you will have a problem in the long term. And no matter how much you want to make it work, if you're fundamentally different as people, I think it's time to accept the fact that this person might not be the one for you. Of course, when it comes to emotional or physical abuse, needless to say, this is not the relationship for you, no matter how much the other person is apologetic. So if something keeps happening, even though you've discussed it, you've addressed it, you've explained that it makes you feel a certain kind of way, if this thing is still happening, then it's probably not the relationship for you. I strongly believe that our gut feeling is there to guide us. It's there in situations where we think we have clarity, we think we have awareness, but we don't really have that, which is normal, especially in situations that are emotionally saturated. It's very easy to lose sight of clarity. And also, questions like that, if you start asking yourself questions such as, is this really the person for me? Is this really the kind of relationship that I want to be in? Is this normal? Am I happy? These questions normally lead to the next step, which is more often than not actually ending the relationship. So even that in itself could be an indication that the relationship has come to an end. Thank you so much to everyone that asked questions. There were more of them, a bit more provocative, and definitely not able to answer those. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll do another one of these maybe soon, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!